Hey guys, let's take a quick look at Iron Juggernaut, the 6th boss in the Siege of Orgrimmar. This is a pretty simple fight, with two phases that alternate back and forth on a fixed timer until the end of the fight. Assault mode is the main phase, and you can see it right now. During this phase, the boss regularly uses several mechanics. He regularly targets a random ranged raid member with a missile that lands a few seconds later, dealing damage in an area. The landing location is indicated by this large red circle, so it is easy to avoid. He also regularly creates these small adds called crawler mines, which after a few seconds burrow partially into the ground. A few seconds after that, they detonate, dealing high raid-wide damage. It is possible to prevent these detonations if a player steps on a crawler mine by right-clicking it, which instead causes that player to take a very large amount of damage and be knocked up into the air. Tanks or other players who have good damage reduction cooldowns need to perform this task regularly. The boss also deals some unavoidable damage to random raid members with his lasers, and of course he applies a debuff to his tank which requires a tank switch. His only other ability during this phase is called Borer Drill, which creates these small earth ripples that move around and deal high damage to anyone who comes in contact with them. 2 minutes after the start of the assault phase, the boss enters the siege phase for 1 minute. During this phase, he is stationary and he does not need to be tanked. He uses 4 abilities. He creates many explosive tar void zones on the ground around him which deal damage to any players who stand in them and slow these players down. He chases a random raid member around with a laser beam, and if the laser beam touches an explosive tar void zone, the void zone explodes and deals high raid-wide damage. He also regularly knocks players back during this phase, which is particularly problematic since the area where you fight the boss is very big, and if you don't position yourself with your back to a wall, you can be knocked back far out of range of the healers. The boss's other ability during the siege phase deals damage in an area around the locations of random raid members. The two phases continue to alternate in this way until the end of the fight. Thank you for watching and please subscribe.